Hello everyone, welcome to day 70 of building the flight booking engine. I am very sorry I made a mistake when scheduling the time. I just noticed it this evening. YouTube kept saying waiting for Nehemiah. I was wondering, but instead of choosing PM, I chose AM. Very sorry about that because I know some of you prefer to watch the live streams instead of the recording, okay? Instead of when the live stream is done, so that you have a chance to see what is live. I'm actually surprised to see that there's someone already watching right now. That's really humbling. Shows as soon as you got the alert, you just joined. I respect that a lot. So today I want us to talk about pagination, which is a very, very, very important concept for us to learn about. So I'll go to TL draw and just quickly explain pagination, why, the what, and why we need it. So what is pagination? Okay. Pagination is simply a technique or a concept in web development and database management, which helps us developers to divide a large dataset into smaller manageable chunks. Okay. You have a large dataset and you divide it into smaller manageable chunks. Okay. And we call them pages. Okay. So instead of loading thousands of records at once, okay, this can easily crash a browser or slow down a server. So pagination allows you to fetch and display just a small chunk at a time. That's the concept, okay? As simple as that. You have, assuming we have 1,000 bookings, okay? Or 2 million bookings. We don't want to load them at once. The system will crash. The browser will crash, okay? Or slow down the server. It will be a very bad experience. So instead of loading 2 million records, we simply load, okay, a few pieces of data, okay? Maybe on every, we only lodge, load. Why am I saying lodge? Crazy. And the thing about a live stream, you have no chance to edit. Okay, you can only edit after the live stream. And still, you have to wait late, like after, I do not 24 hours sometimes to be able to edit. But it's okay. I'll die with my words. It helps us to be able to load data in chunks, okay? And these are called pages, okay? So you can have, instead of fetching 1 million records, you fetch maybe 100, okay? Then maybe 50, okay? Or every time fetch 50, 50, 50, 50, okay? So pages of size 50 or pages of size 100, okay? So only 100 bookings or only 50 bookings instead of 2 million bookings. That would overwhelm the server, okay? I hope that makes sense. Now, I want to talk about an interesting type of pagination, okay? It is called limit offset pagination, okay? I'm going to introduce another one soon, okay? But this one is the simplest type of pagination. And since you have understood the concept of pagination, you can go ahead and build your own technique of pagination, okay? So limit offset is the most common and traditional form of pagination, and it works using two simple parameters which tell your database exactly what page or what slice of data to grab. The first parameter is called the, I want to use white, it's called the limit. Okay, there's a limit parameter. Okay, and then there's what is called the offset parameter. So limit and then offset. I'm going to explain this in a bit. What does limit do? Okay, this one defines how many items you want to see on a single page. Remember, simply a page is simply a smaller manageable piece of data. Okay, just a data set, but smaller. So, for example, maybe 10 items, 10 bookings, or 10 tickets, or 10 users. That is the limit. Then the offset defines, okay, how many defines how many items to skip from the beginning of the list before starting to collect results. I'll give you an example. So imagine we are working with, hello, can you suggest some system design resource, back or front end, both? Oh, Leslie, nice to see you. I'm actually shocked you got this live stream. I had an issue with scheduling, okay, and I mischarged the time. Instead of putting AM, instead of putting PM, I put AM. Thanks for joining, Leslie. So hey, can you suggest some system design resource? Leslie, do you want to share with him system design resource? The first one I can suggest, okay, is the first video in this playlist, okay? Day one, okay? And the good news is that I'm actually going to produce a lot of system design, hopefully starting next week, okay? So next week I'm going to start, I'm planning to start two things, okay? Microservices and system design. I want to do a lot of system design stuff, okay? And I also want to do videos on particular concepts in system design. Yeah, but for the resource, let me see my bookmarks. I had bookmarked some stuff here. Let me see if I can get from this side. There's a guy from India. Okay. He has, where can I get copy his URL? I'm not sure if he still does system design plus, but check. Okay. So I've pasted the link in the chat. Okay. First check that resource. Check netcode.io. Try to check his website. You're going to see system design. I used to follow him about maybe 2 years, 1.5 years ago, but he had really good system design content. Okay. So please check him out and let me know if there's content there. If it is, if it's not good enough for you, I can still suggest another resource. Okay. Yeah. So let's continue. Okay. And I'm going to do that by this. Starting the other week. Okay. Not the other week, which starts on today's 11th, the week which starts on 18th. Okay. Yeah. I'll be doing that. So I was talking about limit offset pagination. Very critical, very simple. Not critical, because is a wrong word, but it's simple to implement. So let us say you have 100 books, okay, in the database, okay. Like I always tell you guys, what is important is the concept. Everything else is quite simple. If we have 100 books, okay, in a database, okay, and I want to show 10 books per page. The first page, okay, the first page would have, page 1 would have a limit of how many? 10. Remember, limit is the number of items you want per page. Okay, you do want 10. Then the offset would be 0. And I'm going to show you a formula to calculate this offset so that you don't have to break your brain. Okay, offset will be 0. This will mean, remember, the offset tells us how many items to skip from the beginning. How many items to skip from the beginning. So in this case, if the offset is 0, it means skip 0 items. Okay, but take the first 10. Okay, so our page would have only 10 items and nothing will be skipped. If we go to page 2, okay, what would page 2 do? How many items would be on page 2? You've guessed, still 10. Okay, so the number of items per page has not changed. It is still 10. Okay, but now we want to get the next 10. So if the page 1 had 10 items, okay, and we want to get the next 10, how many do we? What would the offset be? Can you guess in your mind? It will be 10. Okay, this will mean skip the first 10, take the next 10. Okay, because page 2 cannot have what page 1 had. I'm going to show you a very simple formula to do this, okay? Then page 3 would have something similar, okay? The limit is the same, limit of 10. This time offset will be 20, which means skip the first 20 and take the next 10. As simple as that. So the advantage of this byte go. Oh yeah. Lion 2K has suggested another resource called Go. Yeah. Go, actually, what I like about Go is that they have shorts, okay? Shorts on system design concepts. Yeah, that was, I don't know how it skipped my mind, but it's a very, very good one. Very good one. Thank you for sharing. All right. So the pros is that it's easy to implement, like you've seen, you're going to see rather. Easy to understand. It allows users to jump to a specific page very easily. But performance-wise, when the data set grows, it degrades. Okay. Why? Because the database must still read all the skipped rows to find the starting point. Okay. Imagine we had 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, 6, okay, up to probably, let me say, 100, okay, then up to 1000 records in database. Okay, if you wanted to skip the first 100, okay, and start at 101, okay, you want to start at 101, you want to skip the first 100. With limit offset pagination, you still have to read all these rows to find this starting point. That's the disadvantage. Okay, and also, if you think about it carefully, it can have some errors, especially if data changes. Imagine if you maybe added an item, you're on page 2 or any page, okay? Then okay, let's say you're on page 2, okay? Right now, you're on page 2. Let me give you a simple example to explain a con. You're on page 2, and then, okay, page 1, okay, gets a new item, okay? A new item. While you're on page 2, there's a chance you might see a duplicate. You think about it, okay? Yeah, so generally, limit offset is good for relatively small datasets, okay? And applications where users need to jump between specific page numbers, okay? Some stuff like that. But there's an interesting technique called cursor pagination, okay? Which I will talk about in the next video, okay? So I want to focus on implementing this, and then we look at cursor pagination in another stream, okay? I hope you've understood limit offset pagination. It's not hard, it's simple to implement, okay? If there's anything confusing you, please let me know, okay? Now, let me go to the code. And but once you've understood the concept, feel free to use AI to generate the code for you, okay? You'll find it quite easy. And I trust that many of you are already doing a lot of AI code generation. It's not even that hard, okay? Once you've understood a concept. The main idea is understanding concepts and having the system thinking mindset, okay? And I like that Thor is looking out for system design resources. That's very, very good of you. You're doing yourself awesome. System thinking is the main way to go. Yeah. In fact, this still advanced way of system design which I'm thinking about. Okay. I saw it by some guy's course. Yeah. And he really went deep into system design. I'm also thinking of doing that course, but probably later in the year, because it's really deep, okay? For things like when you need to design an operating system, programming language, and stuff like that. I plan to do it in the second half of the year. And my learnings, I'll share with them with you in case possible. So, quickly, I'll show you the schemas, okay? I did some AI code generation and I made edits, okay? Because AI had not given what I desire. So look at this schema, okay? It's called paginated admin booking response. It will simply have a list of admin booking response, okay? Admin booking response is simply up here, okay? Something that we have had before, okay? But instead of the admin booking response alone, we now have the paginated one. What is going to make it paginated? We shall have a list of items, the total number of bookings, we shall have the number of items to be skipped, okay? And the limit. As simple as that. Now, I want to show you something else, which is in bookings.py, which is another schema, okay? So this schema, for it directly inherits from base model. And the structure is the same. A list of user booking response. If I click on this, you see initially it was we're only using this class, okay? But now we're using paginated booking response, which is defined by the items, the total number of items, the number of items to be skipped, or number of bookings to be skipped, and the maximum number of bookings to be returned to the client. Then for the CRUD operations, they are very simple, okay? Nothing to sweat about. First of all, here I have the maximum pagination limit, okay? I want to define it as 100. For your case, by the way, you can make it bigger, okay? This can be a value even in your virtual environment, not virtual environment variable, okay? You can fetch this value from your .env, okay? Remember, I always tell you to make this application your own, okay? I'm not going to do that today, okay? I want you to do it for yourself, okay? Fetch this value from the environment variable so that when you're in production, you can change the maximum pagination limit without having to write the code, okay, and push code to GitHub, okay? Simply changing the configuration is enough for that. Won't that be cool? Then I have a function here called get user bookings paginated. It has a number of arguments. The first argument is a connection to our database, the user ID, which is a UID, the skip. By default, if you're getting data for the first time, we simply say skip nothing, okay? So we want data from the very beginning. Then the limit is simply to 20. So every page will be 20, okay? Then you have this fancy logic, okay? Remember, these are just default values in case you don't pass. If the client does not give us this number of items to skip and limit, we shall use 20 and 0. You get. Now, on line 26, I have a just simple fancy logic, okay? I pick the limit will be the minimum number between the limit which has been passed and the maximum pagination limit. Why do I do this? In case a client passes, for example, says, I want a limit of 200, the Python will calculate the minimum between 200, okay, which is the limit, and 100. What will it be? 100. So this is a safeguard that in the event that you give us a maximum pagination limit, okay, which is greater than the maximum, we shall always take the maximum because it will be the smallest. Okay, nice. Looks like it's one line of code, but it's a nice one. Okay, then you have a statement, okay, which says select booking where booking.user ID equals to user ID. Order by booking dot created in descending order. Very simple. Okay, offset is now what is the value to skip. Okay, number of items to be skipped. Okay, and the limit, you pass the limit. Very easy, very easy. Okay, then you return list of session.execute statement.all. When I'm reading this code, I like thinking about the SQL, okay? And I want you to have that in mind when you're reading this kind of code, okay? This ORM operations in your mind, okay? Picture the SQL. That is going to help you to become very good at using the ORM and not forget SQL, and it will help you to write your own SQL queries in case the ORM cannot do what you want. Okay. Otherwise, if you only rely on the ORM, over time you forget and you lose that skill of SQL. Okay, so it's a good thing to know. Then after that, what else do we have here? We simply have get user bookings count, okay, which takes a connection to our database. It's of type session and gets our user ID, which is of type a UID, and simply returns an integer. Okay. And here, what we do, the statement is select, okay, func.count. Okay. Then we say this is the function to count. Then we say select from booking, where booking.user ID equals to user ID. It's very simple. Then we simply return the session.execute that statement. Okay, then one. Func is actually imported up here. Okay, so I challenge you, write in the comments, what do you think is the SQL generated from this? Think in your mind. Okay, it is going to help you to think. Okay, and that's a very good first step of developing system thinking from the very beginning. Okay, so you see the logic is not that hard. Then we go to the next one, get all bookings paginated. Okay, takes in a session, the skip 0 and the limit, okay, and returns there a list of bookings. Okay, so ask yourself, what's the difference between this one and this one? Okay, wait, I put here 200. This is wrong, it should be 20. Okay, so I think similar logic, so this is redundant. Okay, it's redundant. All right. No, actually it's not. This is me making a mistake. This one gets user bookings. Why it does get user bookings? Because we are doing a where clause, okay? Using booking.user ID equals to user ID. Oh my god. And I actually, before the stream, I deleted the code, put it back, and I was about to do the same thing. I need to put comments. Then here, the same thing. This one just gets all bookings, okay? Without this where clause. This where clause here. Okay. So this one just gets everybody's bookings. Guys, please let me know if you're understanding in the chat. Let me know if this makes sense to you. Then this other one says get all bookings count, takes in the session and returns an integer. So same thing, okay? It's the same thing with this other one here, okay? But the difference is that here there's no where it has no where clause. It's not filtering for a particular user. Okay, this one just counts all. Okay. Okay, then that's all actually. Now I can show you the router. Very simple, you're going to see. Very simple. Pagination is one of the easiest things to implement. So in this sort of getting user bookings, okay, the first thing I do is to just add this. Okay, I think these new operation functions. Okay, skip, okay, is the query parameter, the default value of 0, and the value should be greater or equals to 0. This is just validation, okay, given to us by FastAPI. Okay, limit is an integer, also is going to be query parameter, and 20 is the value, okay, by default, and should be greater or equals to 1, and less than or equals to the maximum pagination limit. This is now another layer of security. Okay, in fact, I could remove the other one. And also the difference, which I forgot to show you, the first difference, that the response model now is pointing to the paginated user booking response. If I can just show you this one here. Okay, this new one. So response model has changed. Then other things, the other change is now down here. Okay, now here we simply say response equals to paginated user booking response. Return the total items, I mean all the items, okay? Total, the skip, and the limit. As simple as that. So yeah, pretty easy, okay? Pretty easy, pretty interesting, and small logic, but it makes your app actually more performant. Okay. Then can I remove this? And of course at the top, the imports had to be made, okay? So you see from backend.crew.bookings, I imported get user bookings paginated, get user bookings count, and the maximum. Okay. If you want to see where they are used, let me just show you. Okay. So you see here for the bookings, we say get user bookings paginated and pass all the relevant arguments to that function. Then also the total. Okay. We get it. That's the difference. Okay. Yeah. Even this for loop can be removed, but let me not go into that. Okay. Then I think we can go now to admin. Admin also has the same thing. Do you see how easy it is? A paginated admin booking response, simply having the same thing. Okay. Why I made separate one is because in future, in case I want the paginated admin response to be different from the one for the users, we can make a change, okay, in one place without affecting the other. So you can change the pagination for the admin without changing the pagination for the regular user, or change the pagination for the regular user without changing the pagination for the admin. Then here is where I now use the functions, okay, that you saw previously. Get all bookings paginated and get all bookings count. This one also has an improvement to the query parameters, okay, or to the path operation function parameters. Skip has the same definition. An integer, which is a query, default value is 0, and it should be greater or equals to 0. And this is simply a description. Limit, an integer, the query should be 20, should be greater or equals to 1, but less than or equals to maximum pagination limit. That's all. Yeah. Then, of course, the import statements. That's the backend for you. Very sharp, very easy. The other thing I can show you is now the front end. Front end is also very easy. Okay. When I go to types, simply added the type, okay, to represent a paginated bookings response. Okay. Having the items, okay, which is a list of bookings, total, which is a number, skip, limit, which are also numbers. Then when we go to the bookings for a user, okay, and we go to the top, this of course I need to put it in another list, okay, because this file is growing bigger, okay. So all these interfaces need to be in another file, okay, not list but file. They have to be in another TypeScript file because they are now becoming really many. Because here I say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a constant 6. In fact, I think there's a page. I think what we did in the morning had about, is it 10 or more? It was crazy. Then I have an addition of state, the actual number of bookings, and a function to set them. And in use state, we're saying 0. So 0 will be the default value. Then here I have a page size of 2. I was just testing out things, okay? But usually, like we said, it is 20. Then cancel booking. I can ignore that. Minimize all this. Wait, this one has logic. Okay, so you see, when we're now fetching the data, okay, we calculate the skip. I'm going to explain to you this skip in a moment. And we say data equals to await API client dot get page. We now pass the type. Remember, get takes a generic, and this time the type is paginated booking response. Okay, and we pass the skip and page size. Okay, so the value of the key skip is value is this variable, and limit this value is this variable. Actually, it's better to set the value in the variable. See how easy it is? Then the rest are the same. So how does skip work? Okay, I'm going to explain skip. Can copy this and then I paste it in TL draw. Skip and put it in white. Let me try to expand it. Okay. I want to make it smaller. I think, can I make it smaller than this? Wow, okay, that's okay. Now, if for example, right now the page is we're on page, let's say page is what? The page size, let me copy and the color. Page size is 20. Okay, 120 items. And then right now we're on page 1. Okay, so 1 minus 1, what will it be? Multiplied by 20. It will be 0 multiplied by 20. So the skip will be 0. So we don't skip anything. If the page was 2, page 2, it will be 2 minus 1 multiplied by 20. Okay, 2 minus 1 is 1. And 1 times 20 will be 20. So shall skip 20 on page 2. If the page is 3, page 3, it will be 3 minus 1 multiplied by 20. Okay, 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 times 20, who can guess? It will be 40. If the page is 4, so it will be 4 minus 1 multiplied by 20. Okay, what will this be equals to? 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 multiplied by 20 is 60. So that's the simple logic, okay, of this line 183. Then also here I just changed that I added to this dependency array that also when the page changes we reload. Okay, we do another, this use effect hook should run again. Then here I simply calculate the total pages this time, okay, using the page size by dividing the total bookings divided by page size. And because this can return a float, I use math.ceil. Then at the very bottom, okay, there's pagination logic. Have I skipped it? Yeah, it's here. I think pagination controls. Okay, so the same logic that we had earlier, okay, is here. Okay, asking if the two pages are greater than 1, okay, then show this div. Okay, show this div if the pages are more than 1. So I'll minimize this. So when I expand this, okay, you will see that says page this out of this. Like saying page 1 out of 3. In case there are 3 pages, you should say 1 out of 3. It is only 1 page, you will say 1 out of 1. But it won't show because the total pages must be greater than 1. If there are 2 pages, you shall get 1 out of 2. Okay, then this will be a function for setting the page. And this is actually a logic which existed long time ago from the beginning of the project. Then when you continue, okay, we have the same thing here, similar logic, okay, for setting clicking next. Okay, so this is for clicking previous, this is for clicking next. Okay, but for previous we do p, okay, p minus 1, current page minus 1, okay, to go backwards. Okay, because we're going to the previous page, so we have to subtract 1. That's the logic. But for next we do total pages, okay, then we do p plus 1. We get the minimum between the total number of pages and the current page plus 1. Then for the previous, we get the maximum value between the 1 page and p minus 1 to go in the past, in the back. Okay, so to go in the back, we're doing a maximum. So that in the case that p minus 1 becomes negative, okay, 1 is the winner here. Okay, so because 0 minus negative 1 will be negative 1, so 1 becomes the winner. So that's the importance of max. It will pick the maximum between 1 and a negative, or between 1 and 0, something like that. So mean of total pages, same concept applies. When we go to the admin side, okay, pretty much the same thing. Okay, same thing at the top. Okay, state for the page and set page. By the way, even the other page has it. I just didn't show you, but we have the page, the actual current page, and a function for setting the current page. Right now it is 1 by default. And then state for the actual number of bookings and a function for setting this number of bookings. By default, we have 0 bookings. And the page size is 20, meaning 20 items per page. Then the changes, you see, same thing, we calculate the skip and pass it, okay, when making API client.get. As simple as that. Sorry, if you hear background noise, I'm sorry about that. A neighbor's child is screaming. Yeah, and that's totally understandable with kids. For the dependency array, okay, can you see the logic, okay, has changed, but I only added the page so that if the page changes, use effect, this use effect hook, okay, will run again and call the fetch bookings function. That's why I added the page, so that in case the page changes, we make a new request for data for that new page. So here, simply starts, okay, calculating the number of bookings. So if you go to the bottom, I have simply similar logic, okay, which admins did not have, okay. So the total booking is greater than page size, okay, different but achieves the same purpose, okay, but the same thing, okay. So you can see the math.seal, okay. You can see the logic for previous, okay. We are still doing a maximum between 1 and current page minus 1. Even for next, we're doing a math.mean, okay, and doing a math.seal between total bookings divided by current page, then p plus 1. No need for this, but it's okay. So if there's anything here you don't understand, don't hesitate to ask me. I'll be happy to explain to you, okay? Yeah, then the logic, certain logics are easy, like this one here, disabled, okay? If the page is page 1, okay, this button of previous should be disabled, okay? If you're on page 1, why do you want to go back in the past? It should be disabled, okay? Then here for next also disabled, okay? If the current page is equal to math.seal, total bookings divided by that, okay? But think about this way. If there's no next page to go to, why should we go to it? Okay? Why should this button be enabled? Why should you click? So it should be disabled in case there's a stubborn user who wants to click next. So like I always tell you, it's important to understand the concepts. Once you understand the concepts, you're sorted, okay? The others, we're in the age of AI, okay? Generate the code, review it. Okay. Let me run. Wish me luck. Have you ever done something for your clients and while you were testing it was okay, but at the time of presenting to your client, everything collapses? I hope it doesn't happen to me today. Then run the front end. npm run dev. I think we are okay. All right. Where are you, Mr. Browser? I think this was the page I was on. Let me redirect. Okay. I need to log in. Do you see how handy login with Google is? It's very simple. I love this. Completing sign in. There we go. So right now I have a page size of 20. Okay. That's why you see, wow, I love our notifications are still working. This feature of notifications just makes me happy every time I see it. I think it's because it has so many things going on. It has Kafka, it has Redis, it has server-side events. Guys, if there's anything which is very interesting about this project, was when we did the Redis, Kafka, server-side events. So awesome. All right, back to pagination. To mimic it, because I don't have 20 bookings, neither do I want to create them right now. I will go to VS Code, the editor, and do a change. Okay, so source app, my bookings, reduce this, scroll to the top. Okay, I'll just do a change. Okay, so for the page size, okay, I'll change it to 2. Okay, and save, so that instead of 20 we have 2. I cannot create 20 records right now. Okay, So if I refresh to get the actual latest stuff, okay, are you seeing? Now we have 2. And it's now saying page. Are you seeing this text where I've highlighted? It is saying page 1 out of 2. Okay. When you see me refreshing the page, you saw that glitch. Okay. There is something we can improve, by the way, on that. Okay. There's something we can improve. It's not good for his experience. So if I say, are you seeing now? Because I'm on page 1, okay, this button is disabled. When I click next, okay, you see I'm being given data for the next page. Okay. In fact, even the loading experience can be improved. Trust me on that. So you see there's no next because we only have 2 pages. We cannot go to page 3. So next has been disabled. If I click previous again, we go to the previous page. That is limit offset pagination. Very easy. Logic is very easy, trust me. If I change it for you to, let me go to VS Code and change the page size to 1. Okay. Where's this? So page size of 1. Okay. We should have, what is this? Okay. Let me go back to my bookings. Okay. So page size of 1. I had clicked the wrong link and I was wondering what is going on. So you see, we now have 3 pages because we only have 3 bookings. Okay. So 1 booking per page. So if I click next, you see, because we have 3 bookings, we have previous is enabled and next is enabled. If I say previous, we go to previous. If we go to next, we go to next. If I say next again, we should go to the next page. If I say previous, previous. Previous again, previous. Is this disabled? Next, page 2. Next, page 3. The next button is now disabled. Very easy. This is how easy it is to implement. Very easy. And I can now go back and change it back to 20. Okay. But of course, in production, I might actually change it to 100. Okay, or 50. Yeah. So there we are. So this is how you implement limit offset pagination. Guys, if you found this valuable, like this video, share it with everybody in your network, social media, everywhere. Okay, like it, leave a comment if you have to. Okay. So we are wrapping up. Okay, we are wrapping up. I don't think this project will now go to like day 80. That would be impossible. Okay. I want to wrap up in like the next 3 or 4 videos of 3 if possible. Okay. Unless there's some things that is really important that I've left out. Okay. Yeah. So that is limit offset pagination. There's another better type of pagination called cursor pagination. Maybe we can look at it. I'll decide whether to look at it or not, or simply I can actually just record and upload it. Okay. For you to see, so that in the stream we look at something else. Thank you, Leslie, for being active in the stream. Thank you, Thor, for being active. Thor, check out those resources, the resource I shared and the resource that wait, I'm seeing the resource that Leslie shared, but mine is not showing in the chat. What's happening? And they actually posted something in the chat. That's crazy. Can you check? I've just posted something again for you. Okay. This was neetcode.io. Okay, yeah, this was it. So what I need is to share it with you. I don't know why it was not being shown. Okay, it was not being shown. When I refresh the page, I say it's actually lost. Okay, yeah, this was it. That's the crazy thing about it. Let me add it here from this side. I hope it works so that those who come later can find it. If it fails, I'll just add it as a comment to this. All right, guys. Thank you for learning with me and coming all the way to day 70. Guys, if you have implemented every concept from day 1, not just implemented, but you've understood every concept from day 1, leave in the comment, okay? In the comment section after this video, what is the most surprising thing you have known in this series? What is the most interesting thing you've learned? What is the impact it has had on you? I would like to know, what impact has it had on you? What would you expect me to show you if I was to do system design or any other project? Thank you. I'm looking forward to reading all your comments. See you soon.